You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. Those of us who have long supported athletes, college athletes getting paid for their services, certainly appreciate what Governor Gavin Newsom of California did today. He signed into law the Fair Pay to Play Act, which says that colleges in California cannot punish their athletes for collecting endorsement money. The law, which is scheduled to go into effect in January 2023, does not require schools to pay athletes directly as employees. Instead, it makes it illegal for schools to prevent an athlete from earning money by selling the rights to his or her name, image, or likeness to outside bidders. The NCAA, in response to the Newsom signing of the bill, said it would continue its efforts to make adjustments to its rules that are both realistic in modern society and tied to higher education. One of the folks who also is been quite supportive of this is LeBron James. Today, of course, his digital site, they actually live streamed the signing of that particular bill, and they say that is important. In fact, this is what I'm gonna go right here. This is what he posted on his social media account. Here we go to my iPad. This is a conversation on his show, HBO show.
I don't want to say this is checkmate, but this is a major problem for the NC2A.
You obviously brought the bill here with you today. When you put pen to paper right now, what's this going to change and what's it going to do?
It's going to initiate dozens of other states to introduce similar legislation, and it's going to change college sports for the better by having now the interests, finally, of the athletes on par with the interests of the institutions. Now we're rebalancing that power arrangement.
All right, well, let's do it.
So you ready? Let's do it, man. All right. Now law in California, man.
Wait, this is the #1 reason why we've created this platform. To be able to have moments like this where we got the governor of California signing a bill to allow athletes in college. Okay, let me see what that thing look like. Y'all see that? You see that right there? That's good. That's Gov signal.
I don't want to say this is checkmate, but this is a...
The law also allows for college athletes to hire a licensed agent to represent them. The bill was amended several times, including a recent provision that prevents athletes from signing endorsement deals that conflict with their team's sponsors. So, for instance, a basketball player could not wear Nike products during team events if he or she plays for a school that is sponsored by Under Armour or Adidas. Quite interesting, isn't that? All right, folks, the state legislation is similar to Congressman Mark Walker's Student Athlete Equity Act. His bipartisan bill was introduced in March and would amend the definition of a qualified amateur sports organization in the tax code to remove the restriction on student athletes using or being compensated for use of their name, image, and likeness, forcing the NCAA to change its current model. Joining us right now is Congressman Mark Walker. Glad to have you here, Congressman. I had Taylor Branch on my show, Washington Watch on TV One, a few years ago, and in a book called The Cartel. And a lot of people were shocked to discover that the phrase student athlete was not created for the purpose of promoting the academic well-being of students. It was actually created to defend, by a lawyer, to defend the NCAA in a lawsuit. Even the NCAA's entire model has been about making billions of dollars off of athletes under the guise of they're amateurs or student athletes.
Yeah, you're correct. In fact, if you look behind the numbers a little bit, you will find that 40 to 45% of these student athletes in the high-profile sports come from your inner cities, come from your impoverished communities. 99% of these student athletes, they don't ever receive a single dollar from a professional sports contract. Yeah, the NCAA, if you look at the response to the California ruling, in fact, if you look at the last sentence, there's another, a little bit of, I guess I should say, trickery on the NCAA, because they say this: we do not believe the student athletes should be employees of the university. Nobody's asking for that. This is to gain popularity on their opinion, which is tired and worn out. I've been on this for 2 years. They've been promising they would do something 2 years. And I can tell you on your show, I guess if it hasn't been published yet, Jay Billis and I are meeting in D.C., holding a big press conference on October the 16th to bring more attention to this injustice.
The thing that bothers me as somebody who worked for the athletic department at Texas A&M University, and I saw it on the inside. And when I listen to people talk about all the freebies they get, and I'll be honest, Congressman, there's a racial divide here. Most African Americans who are polled are supportive of athletes getting paid. Most whites disagree with that because I don't think people understand this game. And we keep sitting here saying, oh, they're getting a free education, when in reality, look, if they don't play a certain way on the field, a coach can snatch, and it's not even a scholarship, it's a grant and aid. They can snatch that at the end of the year. So many people really don't understand what this financial model looks like and how. And I remember Johnny Manziel, when he won the Heisman at Texas A&M. He signed 4 helmets that were auctioned for more than $70,000 by the university. Why? It's his name. It's his name. Why couldn't he sign a Texas A&M helmet and sell it?
Well, listen, and get this. Only the student athlete is the one that has to sign over any access to their own image and likeness, not the business, not the education, not the music scholarship. They can go out and pick up money on their image and likeness, whether they're playing in a band, whether they're tutoring another individual, another student. It's only the student athlete. This is the biggest racket for decades, yet it has slipped by. I remember back the Michigan Fab Five, when they changed the face of basketball. Jimmy King and Ray Jackson never saw a penny of it. And I just said, this is time to do something right and get it the right way. So I'm hoping that Congress will pay attention and make this right wrong.
Well, in fact, Congress, remember, they had to take their banners down because Chris Webber and other, I think it was Juwan Howard as well, but definitely Chris Webber was being paid by Ed Martin, a booster, thousands of dollars. And the university was out there. They still sell number 4 jerseys. Number 4 jerseys. The NCAA got busted when Ed O'Bannon sued them because they were making money off of video games with the likenesses of basketball players who had, like Oscar Robertson, who had not been in college in more than 50 years.
Exactly. And here's the deal, Roland. We're not asking the NCAA or the university to give up a penny or to pay a penny. We're just asking that these student athletes would have access to the same free market that every other American has. This is crazy that it's gone on this long, that you literally have to sign a document that says, I have no access to my own image and likeness. Listen, the NCAA and the university, keep your branding. But to prevent a backup quarterback, for example, I represent the largest historical black college university, A&T, Aggie Pride, I might add, throw in there if I could, please. But if the backup quarterback wants to go to his local car dealership and they want to pay him a $200 appearance fee, it's none of the NCAA business. Listen, Zion Williamson, the 1%, they'll get theirs. This is for the young men and the young women that in their prime earning spot could have access to their image and likeness and potentially even create a pathway for their new career.
Well, I agree 100%, and so we certainly will see what happens next. The NCAA, they are not happy with this bill. I certainly hope it does lead, as Governor Newsom said, to other states doing the exact same thing. So, Congressman Walker, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Roland.
All right, let's bring in now my panel here. Certainly want to get their thoughts. A former university president, Dr. Julian Malveaux, president emerita of Bennett College. Also on the show, Derek Holley. He is president of Reaching America. Dr. Avis Jones-DeWeaver, political analyst and leadership strategist. And she's here for another subject. What the hell? I'm sure she got the thoughts on this. Kristen Clark, of course, leader of the Large Committee for Civil Rights under law. Dr. Malveaux, I want to start with you. I mean, this is it. You talk about the billions being made. Terrell Pryor, who's a quarterback at Ohio State, was suspended for 4 games. I think it was 4 games for signing autographs, signing his name on a Ohio State jersey with his name on it. And he got suspended for that, signing his name on a jersey with his name on it.
This is predatory capitalism at its absolute best. These young people come in to play sports. It's their bridge to education. But the fact is that they also are commodities, and they're being treated as commodities. And they have the right to the agency of their own names, of their, as you say, their signature on a helmet or a jersey or something else. As the congressman said, of the opportunity to show up at auto show and get $200. Many of these folks are low and moderate income. They can't even get home. I mean, their scholarships do not even give them. So it just seems to me the NCAA is exploitive. And I have my challenges with them for not big challenges like that, but small challenges. And I was at a round table with other presidents who talked about how you wanted to make sure that young people at least had access to books, to stuff, you know, and you don't want to go to Massa and say, Massa, I need to go home because my grandma is sick. You want to be able to make some money.
It was a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, Derek, where the NCAA changed their rules because there were several basketball players who went public with the fact that they didn't have food to eat on the weekends.
Yeah.
Because the cafeteria is closed on Friday. And they said, we're sitting here eating a slice of pizza or cooking food in a hot plate or fixing noodles, and the story blew up. I think it was one of the University of Arizona players, and the story blew up, and the NCAA had to immediately change the rule to allow at least a stipend to be given to players to tide them over on the weekend. But people also don't understand. The Congress has made this point, and I've made it for years. If you go to a university on a band scholarship, you can go perform in a local club. You can perform anywhere you want to. If somebody wants to pay you to play at their wedding, you can get paid. But if a football player was a journalism major, or forget even a journalism major, and if a newspaper said we want to hire you to write a column during the year, even though it's their major, the NCAA says you're trading on your athletic talent. You can't get paid to do that.
I know, and it's unfortunate. It's been going on a long time. I went to college on a football scholarship and experienced the same thing. You talk about the people in the neighborhoods where they come. There were so many people on our team who had to borrow money to get home. A lot of folks from Florida came up to Tennessee and didn't have coats because they didn't have coats down in Florida and didn't have money to buy them. And so this is a step in the right direction. And I hope other states, follow in suit with this because it's a shame the money, the billions that these universities make with these bowl packages and stuff.
I talk about power all the time. I tell people all the time, you want to come to Washington, D.C., you want to understand power and money, go stand in front of the White House. There's the White House, and there's only one federal agency that shares along with the White House, Treasury.
Yeah.
Power, money.
Exactly right.
Money, power. And the reality is, NCAA and these institutions are making billions. They are selling jerseys. They are selling autographs. They are pimping these athletes out to boosters, sending the athletes out, go speak to this booster group, and they're selling 300 and 400 and 500 tickets, and that person's standing there in their, jersey or whatever and taking pictures with every little kid who comes up. When that booster just paid $1,000, that booster just paid $1,000 to go to an event and take a photo with the star athlete, and the athlete is standing there, like on the auctions, like a slave block. All right, y'all, come on.
You are reading my mind.
That's what it is.
Just about to go there. Right. Ode to Marissa Alexander, this is just another example of slavery by another name, right? I mean, these men and women are putting their bodies on the line every day in these sports for the entertainment of the wealthy, who will get even wealthier by being able to commoditize those very same bodies. And what's really sad is that not only are they exploited in this ridiculous way, the whole argument around, as you mentioned, the exchange in terms of the education, let something happen to them, to their ability to play. Let something happen where they don't actually perform to the level that the coaches thought they were going to perform when they recruited them. Then they are butted out as if nothing ever happened in the first place. This is exploitative. It's ugly. As you mentioned, it's really, the ugliest form of what you can do to a human being in this day and era in terms of being able to profit off their labor. And I'm so glad that California said no more, and I'm hoping that they're not going to be the last state to do so.
Christian, people love talking about, I love people when they say they hate journalists and they hate lawyers. until your ass need one.
Oh.
And Ed O'Bannon. So I had him on my TV One show. Ed O'Bannon, former star at UCLA, sued the NCAA because of the issue of likeness. And what he tried to do is it was an antitrust class action. And what he wanted was for an athlete to have the right, after their playing days were over, to benefit from the likeness in these various games. And he won, then it was later reversed. It went to the Supreme Court. And they denied denied this on October 3rd, 2016. But the thing that was crazy about this is that the NCAA, they were making money off of video games.
That's right.
That featured the number 15 jersey from Florida, and the player on the video game was built just like Tim Tebow. And they were selling, again, so all of these major athletes, you play this video game, so you were actually playing. So the jersey didn't say Tim Tebow, but he had the black stuff under his eyes. The body was built the same way, and he wasn't wearing 10, he's wearing 15.
Sure.
Everybody knew that you playing Tim Tebow.
EA Sports.
Athletes got nothing. And they went through this thing. Oscar Robertson was a part of it. Oscar Robertson had not been at Cincinnati in 50 years. But in the EA Sports NCAA game, you could play the Oscar Robertson player. Who the hell else is playing a Cincinnati player with the same numbers as Oscar Robertson? That was the game. And so this is the system that's been going on. And there's a black-white divide, because white folks have been operating as if, no, they shouldn't get jacked. You're getting a free scholarship. You should just be happy.
Yeah, it's not a sustainable industry. And I think that as it becomes increasingly corporatized and we start to see more and more wealth kind of concentrated in this sports college industry, I think we will see more lawsuits, we will see more organizing. We've already seen student athletes who are pushing to unionize, and I think we're going to see more litigation. But I think the floodgates have opened here. What California has done indeed is a step in the right direction. And it'll take a combination of litigation, students speaking up and exercising their voice, and more advocacy in order for us to bring about the reform we need.
Right, and this is where the laws matter. And so for California to do this, and the reason that they're delaying it until 2023, so to give first of all, I don't know why in the hell we got to wait 3 years, but they're giving them an opportunity to figure out in terms of sort of the structure or whatever to deal with it. But this is also what people need to understand when you have these entities that somehow control lives. What's crazy about the NCAA is that, okay, so the NCAA is supposed to govern college student athletes. But there have been cases. There was a young kid, I remember it was a black kid, who he was playing basketball, something like at 3 or 4. And it went viral, and I think Reebok or one of the companies signed this kid to a deal. The NCAA said if the kid and his family, who was 4, took the money, he could not be a student athlete because he would lose amateur status. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wow.
How in the hell can you govern me at 4? I ain't even in elementary school. That's how they sort of operate.
But Roland, going back, if a brother takes a meal from a booster, he could be disqualified.
Right.
You're doing your thing, you're doing your PR thing. If you take a meal, you could be
We couldn't take
disqualified.
a dime who was on scholarship.
So the whole thing is really about extracting surplus value. It's about predatory capitalism at its absolute worst, extracting surplus value from these young people who simply want to get an education and also to play a sport that they love. And so, most of them are not going to go to the pros, but many of them will have a productive college career. And so to even go legislate down to a 4-year-old really speaks to the depravity of the NCAA.
It's all about money. It boils down to money
about the
and
Benjamins.
control, and that's what it boils down to. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how these universities respond. I got no problem if you a star player and somebody wants to pay for your autograph.
Yeah, man.
Show me the money.
Hello.
Because the universities shouldn't be the ones who are getting all the money. All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. Bright is going to be one of the headliners at the Luxe Jazz Experience in Cabo, November 7th through the 11th. I will be there broadcasting Roland Martin Unfiltered. Boy, we're going to have a fantastic time at the Omnia Day Club, Los Cabos, nestled in the Sea of Cortez in Los Cabos, Mexico. Folks, it's going to be fantastic music and food and drink. It's going to be spa, health, wellness, all that fun stuff I ain't doing, but I'll be playing golf. So the second annual Luxe Jazz Experience is going to be fantastic. Of course, we're going to have the Spirit of Jazz Gospel Brunch Jazz Sunset Cruise. Confirmed guests, comedian actor Mark Curry, Gerald Albright, as I said, Alex Bouillon, Raul Madon, Incognito, Pieces of a Dream, my man Kirk Whalum, Average White Band, Donnie McClurkin, Shalea, Roy Ayers, Tom Brown, Ronnie Laws, Ernest Quarles, and more. For more information, go to lifeluxejazz.com, LIFELUXEJAZZ.com. That's LIFELUXEJAZZ.com. It's going to be fantastic. November 7th through the 11th. I want to see y'all there while everybody else is freezing. And on the East Coast and the Midwest, we're going to be enjoying the sun. So go ahead and get your package today. Book your ticket. And let's go to Cabo. Let's make it black as possible. All right? Looking forward to it. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.